Hello, everyone. I listen to myself every time and I'm like, I hate my voice in this tone, but I can't help it. When I'm so excited and so happy, I get all in this headspace. And I'm used to being in a more chesty, throaty space. But I am so happy you were with us today for this story. I am telling myself, welcome to the show. With me today is Leslie Minchin. And I am so excited for her to share her story about her addiction to busyness. So, Leslie, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. Tell everyone a little bit about who you are. And if you are joining us, jump in those comments and let us know that you are here with us.
All right. Yay. Thank you. I too am very excited. So I'm going to try to make sure I don't talk too fast because that's what I do and not super high voice also. So Leslie Minchin, and I am founder president of CTL Leadership. So I have been working with leaders over the last 20 years and really have just found my passion in executive and leadership coaching and helping people figure out how they can get more done because, I love busy, but not in a way that feels overwhelming and exhausting. So actually getting the things done that matter and you feel at the end of the day like energized versus exhausted and done with it. So I'm excited to be here and share.
I'm so happy to have you. And I put Leslie's website for her business up for you guys in the chat. And for some reason, this is the good and the bad of doing a podcast this way. I'm getting an error message for Facebook. So my Facebook friends, if you're having issues, I apologize. I don't get to control that. Technology just sometimes is going to make us put in the extra effort. But that's okay. We're just going to keep rolling along anyway. So, Leslie, you're in a situation right now where you actually you have a job, you work for somebody else. So you kind of have your full-time employment and you are following your passion.
Yes.
You are starting your own business. And that's how many of us get into owning a business, by the way. That's pretty common. So if you're one of those people, wave at us, let us know that we are not alone here. But that certainly is true for many of us, that we decide that there's a stability, right, that we have in our position with an employer, but we have this goal. But what that creates is a lot of work. So tell us a little bit about the story going on. Your internal narrator is always telling you about what's required of you and the work you need to be doing in this time in your life.
Yes, I will say that I have learned that my brain's favorite story to tell myself is not enough. And it is very sneaky. So the ways that it shows up for me, and I feel like it gets sneakier and sneakier over time. But like for me, these days it shows up as, are you doing enough? Like if I have a minute to sit still, surely I should be doing something else because there's probably something I'm not doing. And I notice that my brain instantly starts scanning every part of my life, right? Like my day job, my new adventure, the kiddos, everything. Like, what am I missing that I have the luxury to just sit here and be still? So there is that slight little voice that comes up and says, are you sure you're doing enough right now? So I would say that has been something that I've really been noticing. And the other fun thing that I have learned, because I love neuroscience. And so what the other piece I've learned is how you can play games with your own brain. And so a lot of times now I realize that if I'm staying busy, am I doing the things that matter the most? Probably not, because my brain just is like, as long as you're moving and it feels chaotic, you're probably doing something right. But brains don't always know the best things to do. So what I've noticed is I'll play a game and I'll say, you know what, brain, if you want to be busy, let's be busy. I'll let you be busy. And my brain goes, okay, let's play this game. And I say, right now, we're going to be busy at how much can we just sit on the couch for just a minute? Like, we're going to get busy on finding ways to just relax for a little bit, or we're going to get busy snuggling the dog or playing a game with kiddos. So it's a lot of fun when you can like hear it and then go, let me just turn it around a little bit and see how else can we kind of, shift that perspective and play that little game. So I like to do that a lot.
I love that tip. That is an amazing tip, right? How to acknowledge where your brain is and sort of go with it, but not allow it to own you. right?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
such a valuable tip because it's true. And I feel this in my own life. I mean, even with this podcast, there's so much to figuring out all the behind the scenes stuff that I have to do. And at the end of last week, I had client work that had to go to the top of the list. And in the back of my mind is the worry of like, is there something I'm supposed to be getting done on the podcast that I'm not getting done because I'm busy doing this other thing? And am I going to let somebody down? And that feeling of like, yeah, can I just take a moment to rest? And you used an important word. You used the word luxury.
Mm-hmm.
The luxury, right? So
Yes.
let's talk a minute about that. Let's talk about this internal narration we have about our right to access luxury. What do you
Mm-hmm.
notice? And as you're examining this about your own life, what are you noticing about that, Leslie?
Gosh, I think that's where the not enough comes up again, right? Like the luxury feels like it's extra, it's bonus, it's have I earned it? Have I done enough to actually sit here?
Yes, I'm like ding, ding, ding. Have I do I deserve to be in this luxury? Have
Yeah,
I earned
yeah,
this luxury
yeah,
right now? Like,
yeah, yeah.
yes, I feel that. I definitely
Mhm,
feel that in myself.
mhm,
That
mhm,
moment of happening. And what is this luxury going to cost me?
right. And I think another way to look at it also is to say, maybe not have I earned it, but I'm preparing. So, like, I am going to rest right now because I need to prepare for what I have coming up next. Yes, I have a busy day tomorrow, or I have a lot of, things I need to knock out this later today. So I'm going to take the luxury. I'm actually going to prepare in that way to charge myself up for it so that I can be effective later. And it's another game that I play with my brain that says, you know what, if you don't want to call it luxury, fine, let's call it we're getting ready for doing the best we can later. So it's required right now that we do XYZ to get charged up. And so it's flipping it, not did I earn it, because then that taps into, I don't know, have I done enough? And at least for me, it's never going to be enough to have earned it. So what can I do to say, I'm just going to prepare ahead of time for it? What do you think?
Well, I think in my life there have been times when I have taken the rest, I've taken the pause, and then I feel like it's bit me in the butt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like, then I realize, "Oh my gosh, I forgot about this thing I need to do," and then I'm scrambling, and then I'm stressed out and all of those things, and so I think there's a part of it that's sorta overcorrection
Yes.
too, you know? I
Yes.
mean, I hate that feeling.
Yeah.
There's nothing that I dislike more in terms of my everyday experiences than feeling like I am under the gun and behind the 8 ball, and that
Mm-hmm.
stress and that anxiety of like, I got to get it done. Can I get it done? Am I going to let somebody down? Because one of my values is that you can count on me.
Mm-hmm.
That's part
Mm-hmm.
of who and how I want to be known in the world. And so that, yeah, I mean, I do think that for me, part of why I get caught in this same conversation
Mm-hmm.
of am I being productive enough, busy enough, what else should I be doing, is because that's so strongly implanted in me those moments when I took the pause and then I realized I shouldn't have, and now I'm really far behind and I'm scrambling. Do
Yeah.
you have things like that that you think have contributed to why your brain is reacting in this way?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, so I have two boys, and they're middle school, high school. So I have the opportunity to miss a lot of things, like, ooh, what about that meeting that we're supposed to have, or the soccer practice? Did it get canceled? Did it get moved? And it feels very overwhelming. So what I have found for me is to just almost like pause for a second and get everything out. I love to organize anything and everything. So I think of this as like a closet organizing session, but it's my brain. So like, let's just take it all out. What is most important? And those are the things that I'm going to make sure are on the schedule and that I have kept track of. And you know what? Here's a fun little secret. I actually ask other people to help me. Now, this seems crazy, but if it is something that's on my kids' plate, like your soccer schedule, your soccer practice, whatever. Help me remember. Let's make sure it's on the calendar that we can all see, because it doesn't have to be just for me, right? Like the rest of my family pitch in and help. And so being able to take advantage of that. My friends know me that if there's something that's coming up, they better make sure that I've remembered that it's coming, right? But like at the end of the day, it's just making sure what's most important, it's on there. And then you develop this self-trust, because what I will do is use my calendar for those things. Like I know if it's important, I put it on my calendar. So in those moments when I think I want to relax and my brain starts going, wait, you've probably forgotten something, I can go, you know what? I already know that I took the time to schedule it or to put it on my calendar as a reminder. I know I've got it. It's okay. I am going to take this moment to stop scanning for everything else in the world that I'm supposed to be doing right now. This is helping me be present. Does that make sense? What do you think?
I think it's a pro tip. I think this is a pro tip. And if you got pro tips to share, drop them in the comments. We'd love to hear what strategies that you're using. But this is a pro tip. If you create a process for yourself, if you sit with this fear, like the busyness, the thing that you and I both share in common, what drives our busyness is this fear of dropping a ball, of letting somebody down, of not getting things done. If you create a process for yourself, and you use that process, then when your brain wants to go scanning and use up all of your resources with this potential threat, this fear of this threat, then you're able to say, no, I know I got it, because I have the process. I use the process. And I do. My shorthand for that is like, if it's not my calendar, it's not my life. And so no matter what it is, I'm like whipping out the phone. I mean, the best... I've got to tell you, smartphones, they are a lifesaver, because I can whip out the phone. Let me put it in the calendar right now. I don't need appointment cards. It goes in the calendar right here, right now. So that I know that I have it. And then Google, God bless Google. I'm addicted to Google task lists. Do you use Google Tasks?
No.
Have you found that feature yet?
No, tell me more.
So Google Tasks is the ability to create a to-do list, but like in your email, there's a little icon, and if you click on it, it will add the email to task. So if I owe a deliverable to somebody, I can create a task, I can set a deadline, but when it comes up in my task, it'll take me right to that email and remind me of exactly of what I need to do. So I'm able to very quickly and easily take content that's flowing into me, and I can add other tasks. You can also just type them in, but this idea of taking email things and making them into tasks, and then they show up on my calendar as a task that's due that day until I click it off and I say that it's done.
Nice.
And I have simple recurring tasks, like every month when I need to pay the rent on my office space. It's today's the day that I need to do the Venmo on that money, right? And then I get the reminder. I don't have to worry about it. So, Google Tasks is one of my hacks that I use because I love that it allows me to sort of timeline my email stuff.
Yep. I love it. Another thing that made me think about is if you get overwhelmed with all the things that need to be done, right? And that can generate that feeling of I need to stay busy and spinning my wheels, looking at that to-do list. I know a lot of people love their to-do list. Another thing to consider is like your all done list, or you can call it your ta-da list. So instead of having your to-do list in front of you that feels very overwhelming, like I can't even get started, instead have the thing that you see all day long, what you've done. And as soon as you're done with something, put it on that list, your all done list. And that gives you a chance for your brain to go, look at us getting some stuff done. And that really helps you keep that motivation going. And then you can open up your to-do list again. What's the next one thing I'm going to work on? Close it and start working on that. So anyway.
Yeah, task gets you, because when you check off a task, it doesn't completely disappear. It kind of hangs out in that ta-da thing, which is very cool. Jay, my good friend Jay, Jay too, automations and scheduled reminders for the win. Yeah, nice. Like another thing that Google added not too long ago is the ability to put an email kind of to sleep and set a re-notify me notification kind of thing. So you get that automated reminder of like, oh yeah, it's time to pay attention to this, which I also love. Because look, most of us want to be reliable. And most of us do not like that feeling of being behind, of not accomplishing work, etc. So I think that is a very common human experience. But I want to flip us over now and just spend a little more time, Leslie, before our time is done, talking about the other side of this coin that you were talking about, which is giving yourself permission to pause, to rest, to step away from this incessant drumbeat that we tend to have about we need to be productive all the time. I mean, I can remember when my kids were little, parenting little kids, and the mom to-do list is huge, right? I mean, you've got meal prep, you've got cleaning up around the house, you've got all the things you got to do for the kids, and then your kids want to play. They want you to, mom, come play, mom, come do. And so the things that I was really able to settle in and do with ease and flow were read books, because I thought reading to my kids and reading with my kids was really important, and puzzles. I love puzzles. Puzzles give me a lot of enjoyment, and I think puzzles teach a lot of skills. So you were talking about the to-do list, the ta-da list, and Robert Biswas-Diener just posted about this in LinkedIn at the beginning of the year, what he calls the to-be list. Who do I want to be? How am I showing up today for others? Who do I want to be? And I think this gets to the question of rest, because when you allow busyness to take over your life, the who you are being is anxious, is overwhelmed, is not accessible to others, right? So this idea of giving permission and thinking about who we want to be. So when you apply that to you, Leslie, what's on your to-be list? Who are you choosing to be in this season of your life?
It's so good. Well, the first visual I got when you were saying that was the Tasmanian devil, just like going around in circles all over the place, getting nothing done, kind of causing some chaos. So I don't want to do that. But I think it is being present, I mean, it's tough because there's always like, one of the things is, work on doing things in sequentially instead of simultaneously, but it's hard sometimes. I mean, even the other day I was talking with my husband and I'm trying to like do the dishes and go grab the laundry. And he's like, could you just sit for just a second if we can talk? And I'm like, yes, that's a good reminder. Let me be present, and so that's what it
is. He's a good husband. He's a good egg. You need to keep him.
Yes.
But think about that, doing that for one another. Thinking about the invitation to just get to give yourself a little space. Are we cultivating enough people around us that do that? My husband is like that. He's very good at kind of pulling me back in.
Yeah. But man, it really is. It's being present. It's trying to be a little bit of the calm in life, right? And I think about even with my kiddos, they're both very different from each other. And so my little one is being present and playing games. He'll play games all day long. He'll make them up, anything. And then with my older one, who's 15, he's actually probably happier if I sit there quietly and say nothing. But it's the presence that I have actually learned, right? To like take that as good, because for a while there, I was like, man, I want to ask him all the questions. I want to talk and talk and talk. And he's like, Mom, can you please just stop asking me? And it would, I know we're going off on a tangent here, but it hurt my feelings. And then I realized, wait, he just wants me to sit with him and just be quiet and take it in. And so that's another, I love how they give me the opportunity in both ways, slow down and just be present, and then slow down and interact and play games, so those are some things that I think about.
So I'm, let me know. Let me know in the comments if I'm not the only one. But
Please.
at this stage of my life, looking backwards, my kids are grown. I've got one that's already finished with college. I got one headed off to college next year. But when I look backwards, one of the things that I notice in retrospect is that ticker tape of all the things that I allowed subconsciously to maintain my attention throughout the day, all the time, it stole from me. It stole my ability to really be with other people, to be present in that moment, to find the most enjoyment in that moment for myself. I allowed that to be like this cloud that was just always hanging over my head. And so I do think it impacted how people experienced me, especially my kids. Nobody loves a stressed out mom or dad. Nobody loves a stressed out partner. It's not fun to be with people that are presenting in that way. And I think when we get caught in this busyness trap, that's what we really put at risk, that we don't always recognize.
Yeah, for sure. It makes me think, when I think about some vacations, I think at some point it dawned on me, my favorite part of vacation is first thing in the morning when maybe not everybody's awake, but you get that moment, and my little one's always the first one up. And so there would be this moment where we just got to hang out and I enjoyed my coffee. And it was just, beautiful and magic. Did I lose you? Did you guys lose me? Oh no. There we are.
I'm sorry. Apologies. It's NTI today because of the snow.
Right.
And so I think my internet's like, crashing, too many people trying to stream at the same time. So please go ahead.
That's right. So anyway, so it's just that, but when I think about vacation, you go in a million different directions, but it's that first thing in the morning before you get out there and get going, it's just enjoying that. For me, it's just enjoying that quiet, that kind of connection, before people are really up and revved up and ready to go for the day. But yeah, I'm curious how other people experience these things, and it is that, just to tell ourselves that we don't have to be super busy. And I think part of the way that I've done that is that self-trust and knowing that I've thought ahead of time. I know the things that are most important, and it's just spinning your wheels. Like, we're not getting anything done if we're just spinning our wheels, but somehow our brain's like, hey, look at us. But really being thoughtful about that.
And it is a lie. You know what I mean? Like, it's this idea that that activity equals progress is a lie. It's a lie, and yet it's so hard to break from that lie.
Yeah, absolutely. It is fun to think, I can get things done and I don't have to be exhausted at the end of it. I can get things done and I don't have to be running around like the Tasmanian devil to look like I'm being productive, right? I mean, people wear busyness as a badge of honor, and I'm so busy. And it's like, is that serving you? If you think about it, I'm so busy. Is that serving me in any way? Or am I getting the things done that are most important to me? Think about that.
Well, I would recommend, I don't know if you've read this book, Leslie, Rest is Resistance, Tricia Hersey. Fabulous book that really takes on this whole idea of the story that we've all bought into about busyness and the fact that it's not really serving us well. And your vacation story really made me think about we had a season where we were going someplace warm at Christmas time with the kids, and we're the kind of family, like, we like to go back to the same place. We get to know the staff there and that kind of thing. And it's
Yeah.
kind of fun for us. And so we had this one resort that we went to several years in a row. But the first year, not knowing that we would return again and again, the first year that we went, we're there for 7 days and we had activities like 4 out of the 7 days. And we got home and I said, it's so nice to not have to grocery shop, to not have to cook meals, to not have to do laundry, to, not have to maintain the house. Like that is true rest in one regard. But I don't feel rested because we were just on the go all the time. And so the next year when we decided to do it again, I was like, I don't want to schedule any excursions. I just want to like get one of those canopied bed things on the
Yes.
beach and just hang out there in the afternoon and then go to the pool. And then,
Yeah.
and if we find that we're getting bored, we'll schedule an excursion at the last minute. But we did, I really felt overscheduled because
Yeah.
the story that we were telling ourselves the first trip is, we got to make sure that we do all the things that everybody talks about when you're in. And this is this idea that we have to eat the elephant all at once and not believing that in our lives there's time and space for us to break things down into smaller components. And that's a challenge I fall to all the time.
Yeah. Well, gosh, and if you had an afternoon to sit around, what big thing were you missing that you guys all should have gone to see? How dare you?
Yeah, we got home and somebody said, "Oh, did you go do this?" And we were like, "Oh no!" And you feel like, "Oh, I missed out on something important," because obviously everybody knows that's the thing you should do when you're in in this vicinity or whatever. So,
of course,
yeah, the FOMO moment can play into that as well but it's all areas of our lives.
It is. It is.
I think it gets reinforced very heavily in our work lives. I think work will always take as much as we're willing to give and then ask for more.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you know when it's enough? I wonder.
And the fear that we have of saying enough, like how's that going to be received? And what's the story going to be about me if I say that, if I don't, step up for more? And then in other areas of our lives, I think a lot of it depends. So if you're not like Leslie and I, if you don't have that husband in your life that is pulling you back every once in a while and saying, like, I don't want distracted you. Like, I want present you. You got to find some people in your life that are going to do that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while that when things get super, super crazy, and especially before we had kids that could drive and trying to run kids everywhere, every once in a while, my husband would be like, you made that mess. I'm not rescuing you because you're not going to learn about this until you stop.
Yeah.
Trying to cram so many things in all the time. And I was like, hard lesson. I in the moment, I'm just like, he just needs to be a team player and step up. But at the same time, he's right. Because if he keeps rescuing me, he's enabling that behavior.
Yeah.
And I'm not showing up as the best version of myself when I'm in that harried, crazy.
Yeah. Go, people. Yes.
Yeah, I like that taskmaster in our heads that she's tough. She's very tough.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, because once every now and then you do miss something, and boy, do we punish ourselves for that. We're never going to let that happen again. Yeah.
Preach. Yes. Isn't that true? Like I have a very strong perfectionist too inside of me that wants to be flawless all the time.
Yeah.
Like that would really like to distract me by beating me up for the fact that the internet kicked me out of this and I had to come back. But it's like, it's not even worth it because it happened. I just got to accept it, move on. It's taken me a lot of years to get to the place to be that person.
Yeah.
That can just do that.
Yeah.
And not get stuck. Because, well, I think we are even at a young age. And we do this to our own kids, but our education system, I mean, it just reinforces being right, being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
To get the A,
Mm-hmm.
you make zero mistakes or one mistake. Anything more than that, then you're going to knock your grade down to a B.
Yes. Yes.
I mean, so there is a lot of reinforcement that we receive in a lot of areas of our life
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
says, the expectation is zero mistakes, but we
Yep.
might let you get away with a small one.
You'll have the tiniest bit of leeway, and that's it. Then go do extra credit and pull yourself back up.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Leslie, I want to give you a chance to tell everyone a little bit more about yourself. Thank you for sharing the story of your
Mm-hmm.
busy life, and tell people where they can find you, what you're up to. So I know people are going to want to connect with you.
Yes, I'm very excited. Would love to. I would say, let's see, LinkedIn. I think my email will be available, as well as my website, ctlleadership.com. So those are some ways you can get in touch with me. I love working with people one-on-one. I also do workshops, speaking events, but it's just kind of helping people who feel like they want to get more done in less time, but not be exhausted. So how do you do that? I have so many things going on. There's no way. But it's what is all that stuff that's in the way that doesn't need to be there? And how can I come alongside you and help you clean out the clutter in your brain and start putting together some of the neuroscience and the tips and the tricks of ways that you can really find that self-motivation and find the ways that work for you, because nothing, it's not the same thing for every single person. And then what are ways that we can make sure that you have the systems in place that will carry you, for forever, right? So like learning it and putting it in place and knowing that you can then continue down that same path and apply it to really anything. So I'm happy to connect with anybody that would like to learn more. Yeah, happy to be here. Thank you for letting me join.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, look, we all have work to do because we are fighting our biology. That is
Mm-hmm.
the honest to God truth. A lot of what it is our natural biology, and we have to retrain our brains. We have to retrain our thinking. Like I said, our education system trained perfection into us mentally, but we don't have to live under the tyranny of that grading system anymore. You're allowed to let that go and not apply it to your life anymore. But are you giving yourself permission to do that? All of this mindset work, Leslie is somebody that can help you with that, whether it's for you individually or programming for the team that you work with. You should talk with Leslie, follow her on LinkedIn, see some of the work that she is up to, and then keep coming back to the story I'm telling myself. Up next, we have my friend Sri from Canada will be with us. He's going to talk about origin stories of worthiness. And then this weekend, Vivian Hairston Blade will be with me on Saturday. So it's our first Saturday episode. And she's going to talk about, how do I say I just lost my job? A lot of people, especially in the Louisville area where we are, just got those pink slips. There's a lot of shame. There's a lot of emotion that goes behind receiving that layoff notification. And we want to talk about that as somebody who's navigated that personally. Vivian has a lot of great tips to share. So make sure that you join for the next couple of episodes and recommend this to somebody. If you're enjoying this conversation, please share this with your friends. And Leslie, you've been delightful. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, everyone. And if you're watching in the replay, make sure to hashtag replay and let us know that you've been here. Have a wonderful day. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for joining us on the story I'm telling myself. If you loved this episode, would you do us a big favor to help us reach a bigger audience? Simply subscribe to the Story I'm Telling Myself podcast and rate this episode and share it with a friend. Thank you for listening.